They're raising the carbon tax on April Fool's Day, aren't they?
Oh, they sure are. Hey, folks, I mean, people are struggling with just the price of necessities, right? Whether it's just hamburger meat at the grocery store or trying to fuel up your car on the way to work or staying warm during the winter months. Well, the Trudeau government seems either not to know the struggles Canadians are going through or just doesn't care. Because on April 1, the joke's on you, dear taxpayer, the government is raising the carbon tax again. And let's just go back to what the government of Saskatchewan is doing. Hey, can I just say, it's great to see a premier coming off the bench and actually trying to stick up for their taxpayers there in Saskatchewan. I think it's very clear that Scott Moe, the premier of Saskatchewan, his heart is in the right place and Trudeau is in the wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, what did Trudeau think was going to happen when he did a pure political ploy to take the carbon tax off of furnace oil, which predominantly helps Atlantic Canadians, where they were falling in the polls, but leaving 97% of Canadian families out in the cold and paying the carbon tax on their home heating bill? So, folks, look, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe is pushing back. And the thing that you all need to know is that, again, on April 1, the Trudeau government is going to be cranking up the carbon tax once again.
Hey, I know that there's something else that goes up every year, and I think it's also on April Fool's Day. And you correct me, Franco, I know this is your area of expertise, so if I've got it wrong, you got to let me know. Is it also true that every April 1st, the members of parliament and the senators give themselves an automatic raise too? Is that true?
Oh, it sure is, right? So on the same day that they take more money from your wallet, they're stuffing more money into their own wallet, right? So a lockdown, sky-high inflation, people losing their job, people losing their businesses, none of that stopped our so-called representatives in Ottawa. They're supposed to represent us, but they're not representing us very well on this issue, are they? None of that stopped members of parliament from rubber stamping their pay raises year after year after year. And again, on April 1, they're about to give themselves another raise. This year's pay raise will range from an extra $8,100 for a backbench member of parliament, all the way up to an extra $16,200 for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Okay, so stay with me here for another second, folks. After this raise goes through, a backbencher, along with collecting dust, will be collecting a salary north of $200,000, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's new salary will be about $405,000 smackers.
There is no job in the private sector that he could possibly get on the merits that would pay him more than $100,000. The man has no tangible skills. He, I mean, the money is just the icing on the cake for him. He's atrocious in every way. But the idea that he's getting a raise after his misconduct, his incompetence, his failure is shocking to me. It's just so, I mean, there's 365 days a year. It's a leap year. So this year there's 366 days in the year. The odds that they chose April Fool's Day for both the carbon tax hike and the pay raise, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I think they think we're fools. I think putting it on that day is their way of saying you're fools. And frankly, this applies to the opposition MPs too, because they're all getting the pay raise. Franco, are you aware of any Conservative MP or New Democrat MP or Bloc MP who is saying, no, I'm not going to take it and I'm going to prove I'm not going to take it? Some of them sort of mumble something once a year, but I've never seen proof that they're not all in on it. So there are some things they're all colluding against the taxpayer. Do you have any evidence to the contrary?
No, that's a great point. Here, let me just step back 1 second, though, and I'll get right into that, I promise, okay? But one thing I have to show you folks is that since the beginning of 2020, okay, this will be their 5th pay raise since the beginning of 2020. So lockdowns, business losses, job losses, sky-high inflation, raise every single year. Now, to the point, carbon tax up, MP pay up, you pay higher taxes, they take higher pay. Do you see how it works, folks? Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up that other question about the opposition, right? Because the Liberals or the government could stop the pay raise with a simple piece of legislation, just like it was stopped in 2010 to 2013 following the 08-09 recession. So it can be done and it should be done. Now, to the main question, that's a great one. And I haven't seen a single member of parliament truly attack the member of parliament pay raise. Yeah. While the Liberals could stop it tomorrow, all that would really need to happen is for one opposition party to truly break ranks with the rest of the parties in the House of Commons, to launch a campaign against it, to put in a private member's bill, to take to social media, and to make a real stink about this. So my message to any member of parliament who's watching this show and who wants to be a true taxpayer champion, well, if you really want to be a taxpayer champion, you got to oppose the carbon tax hike, and you got to oppose the MP pay raise.